Right, for July 2024, and today I'm excited to be giving you the evening update on the SADC protests. And as usual, we're going to be talking about what is going to be happening in Botswana. Sorry, in Zambia. I'm still in Botswana. In Zambia, what is going to be happening in Zambia is going to be very, very interesting. And in fact, there's also a lot happening in Botswana. And what is happening is Mnangagwa's chairmanship of SADC has plunged SADC, the SADC Secretariat, into a financial crisis. So there is a financial crisis brewing at SADC because donors are fleeing, they are leaving SADC. And if Mnangagwa becomes the chairperson of SADC, SADC Secretariat might be unable to operate, they might be unable to function because the bulk of the money that they've been receiving is going to dry up and they're going to end up with no money. And the money I'm talking about here is not a little money. I'm talking here about just under 400 million euros or just under 500 million US dollars or $500 million US dollars. That is the kind of money that we're talking about that SADC is just about to lose because of Mnangagwa being the chairperson of SADC. Unfortunately for SADC, most of their funding and their grants will come into an end between 2023 and 2024. And these grants were by the European Union, and most of these are going to come up and dry because of what has happened. And what Mnangagwa has done is that he has now made SADC approach India. So if you look at the SADC page today, you're going to see that SADC has approached India and they've signed a new agreement. And the new agreement between SADC and India is very weak. It's got no financial, so there's no financial details which have been revealed as to how much India is going to give to SADC, the SADC Secretariat. So my host here is smiling, but it's actually very, very sad. There is a sad situation at SADC. When I arrived at SADC, it was clear to me that the Secretariat is facing major financial challenges. There's major financial challenges at SADC, and it's going to get worse under this arrangement with India. India is not capable of supporting. And what I think Mnangagwa is planning to do is to push SADC into BRICS. So, you know, BRICS has got India, Russia, China, South Africa, and right now they also want to have Saudi Arabia in there. And Mnangagwa has been doing deals with Saudi Arabia. He has been to Dubai a number of times, and I've shown you what has happened when Mnangagwa went to Dubai. So we have a serious problem that Mnangagwa is not only affecting Zimbabwe, is now also affecting the regional body, SADC itself. And this deal with India is a very, very big problem. And it's something that is going to become a big problem going forward. You're going to see it. SADC is not going to do well. SADC gained its respect after it issued the report, the SEOM report on Zimbabwe. It was the first time under Mahosi that SADC had issued a report and stood by it. SADC found the election in Zimbabwe that it was not free and fair, and that 17 out of 20 criteria had not been met. However, with the drying up of the funding from the EU, desperately, SADC is going to be looking at India. The last time that SADC had an agreement with India was in 1987, if I'm not mistaken. 1987, that is the last time that SADC had an agreement with India. And I want to show you what SADC is losing by not doing the democratic thing, by not doing the right thing. SADC is losing a lot. So let me take you through this document. This shows you the agreement between the European Union and SADC. And the money we're talking about here is regional economic integration, 112 million, which they were getting for support programs towards industrialization and productive sectors, tripartite transport and transit facility program, project preparation development facilities. So if you look, these all came up in 2024. So all of these were coming up to 2024, and we're talking here of 18 million euros and 21 million euros and 12 million euros. So the trade facilitation program, 15 million euros. And if you look at the support to improving the investment and business environment, 14 million euros. And then peace, security, and regional stability, 35 million euros. This is the money that SADC is losing. Southern Africa Migration Management Project, support to peace and security in the SADC region. All these projects were supposed to come to an end this year, and they are likely to be renewed. Then you look at this massive project here, the grant here is 235 million euros that SADC is going to lose because of Mnangagwa chairmanship. This is to do with support towards the operationalization of the SADC Regional Agricultural Policy Program, intra-ACP Global Climate Change Action. All these are coming to an end this year, 2024. And then institutional capacity building. This is the money that went directly to the SADC Secretariat. The SADC Secretariat is going to lose this money because of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is going to be a big problem for SADC. And I'm not only talking about in terms of the European Union, there are other agencies. For example, I've seen the Canadians standing with Mahosi. I've seen other organizations or agencies standing with Mahosi. The problem with having Mnangagwa as the chairperson of SADC is that Mnangagwa is under sanctions, US sanctions. There is no way that all these international agencies and bodies can deal with Mnangagwa, who is under US sanctions. Because as chairperson of SADC, he actually decides what happens with all this money, what happens with the programs of the Secretariat. So that is what Mnangagwa, that's the power that he has as the chairperson of the SADC. And this is a very, very big problem. And as I said to you, we need to go on to Zambia, make sure that we make these demands very clear, not only for Zimbabwe, but for the good of the people at the Secretariat. So even the people at the Secretariat, they support what we're doing here. They may not say it, Mahosi himself may not say it, but deep down in their hearts, they know that it's necessary for Mnangagwa not to become the chairperson of SADC. So what are our demands going into the SADC Secretariat, and what are our demands going into Zambia? There's going to be a protest of Zimbabweans, and my job here is to just communicate this. I'm not the one who's organizing this. There are other many people who are organizing this. So the demand is Mnangagwa cannot be SADC chairman. Zimbabwe SEOM report must be on the agenda of the SADC summit in Zimbabwe, which is going to be held between the 17th and the 20th of August. And the national dialogue mediated by SADC must be kick-started in Zimbabwe. And this is essential. The moment Mnangagwa gets on the agenda of SADC, he cannot become SADC chairman, as I said yesterday, and I've been saying on a daily basis. We need to get Mnangagwa on the agenda of SADC. And I'm very happy to say more prominent people are joining these protests. We're going to see a lot of prominent people over there in Zambia. And I hope that the Zambians are going to support Zimbabweans demonstrating in front of the venue of the SADC Ministerial Committee of the organ, which is going to hold its meeting in Zambia on the 13th of July. So that is basically what I wanted to say today. I don't want to say a lot. And then I want to end with a call to action. So I want to request support. There is someone very important and very prominent that wants to travel with us to SADC, and she needs help with the flights. So we need to put her on the flight to Zambia and the flight back. So on the 13th of July, and we need the amount of $400 for her to be able to fly to Zambia and back. In fact, let's make it $500. If you can put $500 at fumojana.com, we are going to advise the person who puts the money, who the person who needs to travel to SADC is. The person that needs to go to Zambia, we cannot disclose her name right now, but she needs to go over to Zambia for a specific reason. And I would like to ask that you make a donation to fumojana.com of $500 US dollars. That is the money that she needs to travel over to Zambia to hold some meetings, to galvanize the people who are there in Zambia, and for very specific reason. There's a very specific reason that one day to go over. She's a very prominent person. If you see her, you're going to know her, but we need to get her on the plane. As you know, my tickets have already been bought. My expenses have already been paid. And I would like to thank all of you guys for making this happen. Gambakwe has been traveling with the assistance of people on this platform. And I would like to thank all of you for making this happen. So I think this is it for today. Mnangagwa has caused massive disruption at SADC, and he has caused massive disruption at the SADC Secretariat. However, the protests that we're going to be seeing in Zambia by Zimbabweans on the 13th of July is essential to stop this. If Mnangagwa is stopped from becoming SADC chairperson, the SADC Secretariat is going to do very, very well. Donors are going to come back, and the Indians who have made a pledge here to become the donors for SADC, they've not said how much they're going to give, but I know for certain that they're not going to give 500 million US dollars. The Europeans have been helping SADC a lot, and I think the Canadians have also been in there helping, and I've seen the Swedish over there. So we need a proper structure at the SADC Secretariat, and without funding, that won't happen. And we eventually will end up with people that do not care about democracy and human rights funding SADC. And the moment that happens, they are going to have a problem. And because the report that you saw right now on the SEOM report, you will never see such a report again if there is no component of human rights at the SADC Secretariat. So I'm going to end here today, and I want to look at the comments before I go. My brothers, I'm so sorry. Mkoma Mlamuli is saying, I think this guy is talking the truth. Thank you, Gambakwe. Yes, Gambakwe is the source of truth. And I would like to thank you all for supporting me. The amount of support that we are getting for this effort is amazing. And we're going to do a great thing. Our country is going to become the pride of the world. Zimbabwe is going to do very, very well. And my job, I'm not going to be in government. My job is going to be homecoming. That's all I will do to get all our Zimbabwean people to come back home. That would be my job, my daily job, to make you guys come back home. I do not want people who are 90 years old, 80 years old, who are staying overseas. We're going to bring all of you guys home. You're going to do very, very well. You're going to see your families. You're going to go to holidays in Victoria Falls, in Nyanga, in Matopos. We do not want you to be stuck in those foreign countries where you're struggling and where you're having a hard time. So let's look at other comments. So the ministerial organ did not have an office in Botswana. No, Mkoma, the ministerial committee of the organ has an office in Zambia because President Hakainde Hichilema is currently the chairperson of the organ, and the other countries which are part of the organ is Namibia and I think Tanzania. So these three countries, they are going to have a meeting with other ministers. So there'll be ministers of foreign affairs of other countries. And if you look at the past report, the meeting that I've shown you, there were also ministers of police, ministers of security over there. Is the most important meeting. The MCO is where the agenda of SADC will be decided. They make recommendations to the head of states. And if they say Mnangagwa cannot be chairperson of SADC, Mnangagwa will not be chairperson of SADC. And if they say that the SEOM report must be on the agenda, the SADC SEOM report is going to be on the agenda. And if they say that there must be dialogue in Zimbabwe, there will be dialogue in Zimbabwe. The heads of states are just going to ratify what is going to be said at the MCO meeting. And we need to make sure that it's very, very important for the MCO meeting to know that Zimbabweans don't want Mnangagwa to be the chairperson of SADC. The lady that spoke in the morning, she's genuine. Yes, Chimama, she's very, very genuine. And then Mkoma Dongo says, I smell change very soon. Not full change, but definitely there's going to be change. I'd like to thank all of you. Believe in what we're doing here. This is the beginning of something very, very big. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you what has happened with Mnangagwa. Something dramatic has happened with Mnangagwa. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but we are moving towards a change in our country. We're going to see the most beautiful country that we've ever seen. That is Zimbabwe. And we love the country of Zimbabwe. And my Nunuzai says, I love Chimama. Yes, Chimama is so popular. Let me tell you what has happened today. The video that we put out has gone all over the country. People are watching Gambakwe in the rural areas. They're watching Gambakwe in foreign countries. And Chimama has exposed what has happened with the money that was sent to South Africa to Renform. And Wikino Chivayo has been deported from the United States of America. If you look at Madam Boss' profile right now, Wikino Chivayo came back to Zimbabwe in the same plane with Madam Boss. She showed the picture with him, but you could clearly see that Wikino is no longer the Wikino that you know. The boy is going to end up in jail very, very soon. I can assure you that within the next few weeks, Wikino Chivayo is going to be in jail where he belongs. And we're going to hear something very, very big about Mnangagwa. The South Africans, as I said to you in the morning, have refused to release details of where the money went, which means it went to very, very big people, and they don't want to release that information. But Zimbabwe is on the verge of something massive, something very, very big, and you guys have to believe. So if you're in Zambia, join us in Zambia on the 13th of July. If you're in Zimbabwe, take a bus, take a flight, drive your car, make sure that you are in Zambia on the 13th of July. Do not try to protest in Zimbabwe for now. You can only protest in Zimbabwe if Zimbabwe is on the agenda. And we're making sure that everyone knows about this. We're talking to the right people. Everyone must know that the first place to protest is Zambia. Make sure that Mnangagwa is on the agenda, he gets discussed, and then you can go and protest in Zimbabwe, and everything is going to change in a single day. So that is it for today. I do not want to talk a lot now. I talk too much in the morning. Mr. Lloyd Masia is saying, thank you very much, Gambakwe. You give us hope for our country. Yes, let's have hope for our country. And especially if you're overseas, I want you guys to play a part. If you're overseas, play a part. WhatsApp me over there. Donate at fumojena.com. We want as many people who are prominent as possible to fly into Zambia. We've got some people that are in Zimbabwe that need to go. We need to hire some buses. Please donate on fumojena.com or WhatsApp me on that number. Let's make this happen. There's no one who's going to make our country go well. It's only us Zimbabweans who are going to do this. And I think, let me stop here now. I'm going to also send this video to the raw areas so that they know that people are protesting against Mnangagwa on the 13th of July. We want everyone to know that things are not okay in our country. The ZIG is crashing. The economy is crashing. Mnangagwa arikurayavan nenzara, and we don't want it. Mkoma Peter Tosh says, if you play with us, we'll hunt for you. Mkoma, if I ever played with you, you've seen me in Botswana. Last week, you've seen me traveling all over the place. Yesterday, I landed after a long, long trip. And next week, I'm going to be Zambia. I'm not talking things that I'm telling other people to do. I'm going to be right there. And it's going to be amazing. Our country is going to do very, very well. And when the dialogue starts, I'm going to be there. You're going to see me in Zimbabwe during the dialogue, and I'll be giving you guys an update. We do not want politics that happens in the secret. We do not want politics that happens in the shadows. We want everything to happen in public. So today, I'm not giving you guys a chance to talk. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock. Join me here. Let's talk about what has happened today. A massive development has taken place in Zimbabwe. So let's see what has happened, and then we'll talk as we go. Don't forget, you have a part to play. You cannot just watch. Do something, contribute something, send someone to Zambia, and I am definitely going to be there. So even if I'm the only person there, you're going to have one demonstrator, and that will be me. That's amazing. If I demonstrate, everyone in Zambia is going to see it, everyone in Botswana is going to see it, and everyone in the UK is going to see it. So that's it. I would like to thank you, all of you, and I really appreciate the support that you're giving me. Thank you very much, and a good night to you all.